and welcome to our next auditorium session. My name is Joanna. I'm part of the sales team at X-Dream Distribution, and in the next few minutes I will talk to Steph from Jetstream about their product news and updates. Hello Steph, thank you so much for being with us today.
Hi Joanna, how are you?
Hello, good, thank you. I hope you are too.
Yes, I'm fine, healthy and safe at home.
Yeah, that's the main thing at the moment. I have a bit of a cough, but other than that, it's all good. So Jetstream is our partner when it comes to streaming and multi-CDN technology. Steph, before we deep dive into your product news, let's quickly talk about IBC first. So unfortunately, IBC has been cancelled, but we decided to go fully virtual and host our online IBC. I don't know, maybe you can tell us a bit about your feelings. Probably you think it's a great idea that we're all streaming now. You as a streaming guy, I don't know, do you think it's sad that there's no in-person meetings anymore? Just tell us a bit.
Well, of course, being someone in streaming, then I should advocate streaming all the way. But I think there's also a lot of value in meeting each other in real life. And that's what IBC should be about. So unfortunately, it has been cancelled due to COVID. But hopefully next year we will have an event and then meet each other and have a drink, and really have more personal conversations than we can have right now. But streaming is the next best thing, so let's go for it.
Definitely. So we're making the most out of it. So I think one can say that you're a streaming veteran. So maybe you can tell us a bit more about the company Jetstream and how it all started.
I worked in a pop venue and we started to stream concerts live on the internet in 1994. And it just struck me. It was so great that we were able, just with a few guys with some computers and a modem, to stream live on the internet. And I thought that was really great. So I started a business in this, and that became Jetstream.
Wow. That sounds really impressive. It just all came up from this, cool little idea, and then it basically turned into something big. So if you had to summarize it in just a few words, what would you say? What makes Jetstream different or unique?
Well, I think it's the expertise. We've had so many years of experience with streaming, with the technology, but also with a lot of use cases and business cases and workflows. And all that expertise has been put into a platform to develop it by streamers for streamers. So to help professional streamers to build complex workflows in just minutes instead of, sweating for months to build a platform themselves. Yeah.
That sounds very good. So maybe you can give us a quick overview of your product portfolio so that our audience gets an idea of what exactly it is, what you're providing.
Well, we have a streaming platform, and it's a European-based streaming platform, in which you can stream live radio, live television, VOD. You can launch all kinds of services on that platform, whether you want to use video for marketing or for your enterprise, or if you want to start a radio station or a TV station, whether you want to start a similar like Netflix kind of service, like a subscription service or pay-per-view or advertised videos, it's all possible on a single platform. And this is something we have been developing for the past 18 years, I guess, and continuously been evolving it and adding new features and modernizing the code, of course, as well.
Yeah, so you already mentioned it, adding new features and everything. It already sounds quite round to me. But what was your plan to show at IBC? What are your news and updates? What have you been working on recently?
We've been working on 4 themes in the company. The first one is very exciting, which we call Jetstream Cloud, which is a new infrastructure. It's a cloud. We don't run in a third-party cloud like most streaming platforms. We have our own cloud. So we control the entire stack from the network and the servers and the operating system and all the applications, all the streaming applications on top of it. So we control everything from top to bottom. And that means that we, like Apple, we control a full and integrated solution, while others just have just a hardware stack or just a software stack.
Okay, so that was Jetstream Cloud. If there's anything you would like to add to that, you can tell us a bit more about the cloud, because so far I thought that your solutions weren't in the cloud, so you just said it. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about how did the idea arise?
We don't put stuff in the cloud on third parties because we want to control the entire stack. And clouds have two downsides, typical clouds, because clouds are not optimized for streaming and our cloud is. And one of the benefits of our cloud is that it's not virtualized, because most of the clouds out there have virtualization. And that's great for web, for applications and services. But for video streaming, which is so heavy and so depending on high performance infrastructure, we decided to build a bare metal cloud. So there's no virtualization in place. That means that it's extremely high performing. And it's also only in Europe. So it's a European cloud, which means that we actively protect the data. So we call it a secure and private cloud. And none of your data leaves the cloud, and it's yours. It's your data. We don't share it. We don't use it. We don't sell it. It's guaranteed. And this is not just about privacy of your audience, but it's also about protecting your business data, like your market reach or your most popular titles or your advertisers. You don't want that data to end up in third-party hands, because they could actually use the data against you to compete you with your own data. And that's something that's not going to happen when you run in our cloud.
Okay, I see. So it's all about protecting data, which is a crucial thing, I would say, these days. I know that there's also some news about Jetstream Mix. Maybe you can tell us more about that as well.
Yeah, Jetstream Mix. So on top of the cloud, we run all kinds of software, which is our own technology. And we call this Jetstream OS. So the operating system with a lot of applications. And you see the applications in the screen right now. We have applications like a video player and transcoding, analytics, live streaming. All these applications are in our platform. What's important about Jetstream OS is that you can mix all those components together using one unified web interface, which we call the cockpit, and one unified API, so you can automate these workflows. And this is orchestration technology. So you can orchestrate that a stream gets in, you get a live stream in instantly, you transcode it, you use our player to push it out, and we stream it for you through multiple CDNs. That's something you can orchestrate in a minute or maybe 2 minutes. But if you don't like our video player, you can actually replace it with your own. And you can replace any of those components with one of your own components. So you can mix your components and our components. So you can have multiple applications work together. Our applications and your own third-party remote applications. Like, for instance, if you don't like our live transcoding service, you can do your own live transcoding, but mix it in the entire process. And you can do this within minutes, and that's extremely powerful. We haven't seen any other service that does this in real time. And I think that's the benefit of operating our own cloud, our own operating system, our own applications with the cockpit and the API, so you can click and add CDNs, origin servers, transcoders, players, either from Jetstream or from yourself or a third party.
Okay, that sounds very impressive indeed. So doesn't really matter whatever customer it is and what they already have. You can add components, they can bring their own things in. So you're very, very flexible when it comes to that.
So, okay. I mean, the idea, I mean, if you want to find a streaming vendor, either they are a platform or a cloud. And if you talk to the platform guys, they say, yeah, streaming is complicated and we've made it easy for you and fast. So you can just set up a stream and publish it. But to make it easy and fast, they take all kinds of shortcuts and take out your control and flexibility in their workflow. So they start to dominate your workflow. And that should not happen. Your use case should dominate the workflow and never the other way around. And that's something that we fix. So you can set up a workflow in minutes with our platform, but at any time you can break out and control the workflow and influence the workflow at any step in the process. And that's very powerful. And if you compare this to the clouds, where they have all these open components, like we do, but there's no orchestration, there's no integrated API, there's no glue between everything. So it will take you weeks or months with developers and engineers to start integrating this stuff. And if you can find those guys, they will typically cost you like 200 euros per hour, while an account with Jetstream with all the features is 200 euros per month. So, in terms of total cost of ownership and time to market and ease of use, that's something that we are really going for in the market.
I see. Thank you very much for this explanation. Let's quickly also move to Jetstream On Air.
Yes. Yes, On Air is a new application
that fits into.
Yes, On Air is a new application. So we set the ambition to offer a service from glass to glass, so from the camera to the screen. And if you want to offer a glass-to-glass service, you don't just need a video player, which we launched 2 years ago, but also live encoding. Currently, if you want to do live encoding, you have to either buy a hardware encoder or install a software encoder, which you either have to purchase or download for free, and you have to install it, configure it, and then connect to the CDN, which is fine for high-end professionals. However, you also want to lower the barrier for live streaming. So we built an application called Jetstream On Air, and that's actually a cloud-based live encoding service, and it's loaded into your browser. It's just a JavaScript. And we are going to integrate this into our portal. So you don't have to install an encoder, you don't have to buy an encoder, you don't have to configure everything. You simply log in, click on broadcast, select your cameras, select your microphones, and you're on air. And On Air is running on, we tested it on an entry-level MacBook, the new M1 MacBook, just the MacBook Air, which is like €1,000 or so. And it could stream up to 4K, Ultra HD, 60 frames per second at less than 10% CPU load. So you can really get high quality live encoding out of this On Air system, which means that it's for professionals. It's really great technology in the hands of professionals. And another thing that we're doing with On Air is we're not going to just offer it in our portal, but we're going to offer it as a JavaScript API, which you can implement in your own portal. So you can let users log into your website and let them stream live with one click in your environment. So no installation, no configuration, no connection setup, no difficult hardware encoding profiles or software encoding profiles. It's just log in and stream. And that's how we can lower the barrier for people to do live streaming. And we are hoping to license it to third parties as well. And we also built it into our Streaminar application. So I think that's really a cool new innovation when we haven't seen anything like it on the market yet. Because, on the one hand, you have people, you can stream live to Facebook with a click on your phone, but then it's just a selfie camera and the quality is poor. And there was nothing in between the high-end professional stuff and that. And I think we can fill in that specific gap there.
Definitely, it sounds really, really good. Also for people who are maybe not techies, for example, like me, it sounds really simple and intuitive. So basically,
yeah, I can explain you a number of cases that we are talking to. One is media companies, and they have journalists. The idea is that journalists can simply, wherever they are, open up the laptop, connect to the internet, and start a live stream without any other technology. Just log into a portal, start streaming. And one other example is we're talking to a customer, and they want to start a live sports instruction service. So you can get a subscription and see live instructors doing sport exercises. And those people, you also don't want to confront them with buying hardware or installing software. So those instructors can just simply log into the portal, start streaming live whenever they want, and that's how they can get on air. Yeah, I think that's great. Also nowadays during COVID, when live streaming and virtual realities become more and more important. Also, for people like me with a more journalistic background, simple, intuitive user interface, and you're ready to go. Okay, thank you very much. Really, really impressive. Let's quickly move to contextual advertising, because I know there's some news on this side as well, and obviously that's a very important point as well when it comes to streaming. How is contextual advertising implemented in your system? Okay, so let's first talk about advertising. A lot of companies are making money by placing ads in front of videos. I mean, like YouTube, and they call this AVOD, Advertised Video on Demand. The problem with AVOD is privacy. Before you even hit play on a video player, your profile and actually your cookies and that stuff is shared by that video player to at least a dozen of ad networks, which means that they invade your privacy. You have no idea what they know about you, and they let their customers target on and bid on your slot, the view slot. You want to watch a video, and in real time they're checking your profile and seeing if you're of interest to them, and then they will bid on your profile, and the highest bidder will get the ad in front of you. That's very privacy invasive, and it's becoming more and more illegal. But it's also being actively blocked, for instance, by Safari and iOS. And they have like 40% market share in online video consumption. So that's going to hugely impact the value of your reach. So if you have a site with a lot of volume, a lot of traffic, a lot of viewers, the value of that viewers will drop because advertisers cannot really pinpoint their ads to you anymore. So they will devaluate your volume, which is hurting the business model of publishers and broadcasters, newspapers, and everyone who has a news website, for instance. So the idea is to not share personal data anymore, but to share a lot of data, a very rich set data about the context. So we don't really need to know who you are, but if we know that you're interested in a specific market or in product or services, by telling the advertisers a lot about the video, the context of the video, the contents of the video, the technical specs of the user, the location, not the address, but the city, that will still help the advertiser target very precisely on those users without affecting their privacy. Which means that the value of the CPM value, the cost per million, is still high. Of the cost per 1,000 is still very high, which means that you maintain your revenue streams on advertising without invading privacy. So this is something that has been tested around the world by some companies, and last year we implemented contextual advertising in our video player and the platform. It's VAST compliant, so you don't have to completely re-implement an entire new solution. It just replaced the first one with the second one, and that's basically it. So there's no big migration there. But from that point, you can keep adding data to the videos, and we'll also generate a lot of data and share it to the advertisers. And that's it. We filter out the IP address of the user, so the advertiser does not know about the individual user. And that's what we call contextual advertising. And it's part of our platform. So we have VAST proxies, and we also have a video player that supports it. And that player is not charged per CPM. So instead of, most of the video players out there charge a small fee per click, per view. We don't do that. We charge 150 euros flat fee for the video player with unlimited views. So what it does, it protects the privacy of the viewers. It maintains the value of your network, of your market. So it keeps your revenue stream up and running. And it reduces your cost because the player is, almost free.
Thank you very much. So what would you say now, if you have to summarize it, what was your main goal with all of these developments? How can you help already existing customers, or maybe also new customers that you don't know yet?
Well, yeah,
how do
existing customers will not notice. Well, existing customers will not notice anything of the migration to our new cloud because the functionality it will just operate exactly the same way. They will get even faster performance, even more reliable streams. So it's a massive investment in infrastructure that we've done to keep sure that we can keep scaling up together with these customers. What we try to do with these innovations is make streaming easier without affecting the control and flexibility of the customer. So it's now easier to do live streaming with on-air. Customers can now launch new business models by offering live streaming to their audience. advertising is a way. I mean, we think privacy is very important in Europe, so we make sure that the advertisement revenue stream keep up and running while protecting privacy. The data that we gather is in our secure cloud. We don't take any ownership. It's your data, and I think that makes it more of a strategic choice to work with Jetstream instead of just using any video platform or any cloud. And that was the main goal of these innovations. So build a European cloud for video streaming, outperform other clouds, protect privacy, protect data, make it easier for customers to work with multiple third-party applications and integrate it and mix it in their workflow. So yeah, we want to tell customers that they can fly as free as a bird with Jetstream. Basically, that's it. Yeah.
That sounds great. So what you say, who is the typical Jetstream customers, and when do customers approach you? At what point?
Okay.
Maybe.
The typical Jetstream customer is either a broadcaster or a publisher or an enterprise or a startup who wants to launch a new SVOD service or a AVOD service. Or we also work for a lot of radio stations because we're one of the few platforms that actually supports iScout's radio streaming as well as HLS and Dash, which is very important for radio. We also work for a lot of enterprises. And of course, in the past 2 years, we've had a lot of events on our platform, like the Eurovision Song Contest being broadcast live on the internet. Those are typical customers who come to us. We don't work for very small customers because their need of flexibility and control is less. They simply need this very easy workflow, like upload a video, get a video player. Those customers should go to Vimeo. But I must say that a lot of those customers come back to us and say, yeah, now Vimeo is charging us like 10K or 20K. We have to pay that right now because we went over their fair use policy. And then we migrate them to us and they can keep on scaling. So basically, that's our customer base. Most of our customers come to us by word of mouth because they're advised by another customer that they have a good experience, and then we get new customers.
Okay, I see. Another question that just came to my mind. Do you have like an exceptional customer, somebody from a field you never thought would approach you? Probably not. Maybe.
No, I don't know it. We have some really cool cases. We just wrote a case about a Swiss Netflix-like service. I really like them. So they offer a subscription video service like Netflix, but then for the Swiss market with Swiss specific Swiss content. I really like that customer. But we have so many different customers. We have sports customers. We have radio customers. The typical customer has a need of a more advanced workflow than the average customer, I guess.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, thank you very much for these insights into your customer cases. I also read on your webpage that your customer satisfaction is very, very high. So congratulations. That's something to be proud of, I think. Do you have other things on the roadmap, things you have planned to keep your customer satisfaction so high? I'm sure you have many things planned. Maybe you can give us a little outlook.
I think if you look at the future, I think a CDN should perform and should be available all the time. That's the core fundament of a CDN. I think we outperform a lot of them because we've had really high uptimes and performance charge in the past few years. And with the new clouds, we want to go beyond that. The second thing we wanted to tackle, and I think we've done that, is the mix and the open workflow orchestration stuff. I think that's already there, and it's a very solid way to get customers on board and get them have their workflow up and running in a few minutes. The other challenges I think are now in total cost of ownership, and I think we've gone to great efforts to reduce those total cost of ownership because onboarding is easy, setting up a workflow is easy. You don't need a lot of staff to implement this a very complicated workflow. You don't need a lot of people there, and you also don't need a lot of people to operate the system day in, day out. Typically, our customers set it up in a day or maybe a week if they have very complicated workflows, and then it's running, and then it's automated, and nobody should care about it anymore. So we don't talk to most of the customers, not in an operational way, because it's running, it's operational, and then those customers are happy customers because it's working. So total cost of ownership is something that we have been really focusing on because it's not just about licensing or traffic costs. And most people who want to compare streaming platforms are focused on the price per gigabyte. And I think we have very competitive pricing there, especially because we have these algorithms that reduce the traffic cost because we use multiple CDNs and use the cheapest path. So yes, we can reduce the price per gigabyte, but that's not the whole story. The whole story is about what will it cost you in total to implement a complicated streaming workflow and to operate it on a daily basis. And that's where we really score because of the mix value that you can change your business case and change the use case and change the workflow in a few minutes instead of having to start a massive project with people and etc. So yeah, I think total cost of ownership is key. Privacy will be a focus point for the next year. And another thing that I'm really excited about is live sales. You see that, especially in Asia right now, a lot of influencers are doing live sales on social media. But I don't think social media is the best platform for it, because you have reach, you have audience there, but you don't want to build a house on someone else's ground. You want to build it yourself, and you want the data yourself. You want to know your audience. You want to have direct connection with the audience. So live sales is about influencers selling stuff live on the web. You're showing a product and say, this is a product, and I have a discount for you, and here's a buy button, buy it right now. And that's something that's going to be very exciting in the next few years, especially in the e-commerce industry, where people start selling stuff through live streaming. And we're working on all kinds of innovations there. So hopefully we can release this next year.
Wow, yeah, I can tell. I can also tell that you could go on for another half an hour. So if you're, or even more, I think. So if you're interested in exchanging with Steph right now, maybe about live sales or about other topics from Jetstream about the products, Steph will be in the coffee bar right now after the session. So please feel free, join the coffee bar and have a virtual coffee with Steph. He will be super happy to talk to you. I would say we end the session right here, Steph. And yeah, I'm happy to talk to you again soon at our next virtual event. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Please join our coffee bar. We will be back in just a few minutes with our next product updates. I think it will be about our mum partner Flowworks. So stay tuned and see you soon. Bye.